RK's Guyana Free Media presents for human development and national development this message.
Dearest, most beloved divine friends and family, brothers and sisters in Guyana, in a concourse of humanity and the fraternity of religions, your brother, yours truly, Haji Dr. Ocean can present to you another in the episodes of the RK's Guyana Free Media, the Guyana Elections 2020, the absolute madness that preponderates and perpetuates into the Guyana stupidity of an elections. Respects to the Guyana flag, God bless you my country. The Guyana map, God bless you my Guyana El Dorado. I love you and I honor you and I want you to have freedom from those who want to steal you and to make us slaves so that they may perpetuate themselves in power. God bless Guyana and God bless all the people of Guyana, all the races, all the 6 races. Let us see them. Operator, let us see the 6 races, one at a time or all together, or one at a time and then all together. God bless. Beautiful, magnificent, fantastic Guyana. Friends and family, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, it's become religious for me. I must do my part to remind you about sanitizing every program, even if it's re-edited this piece into others that are being done around your finger, the way the Muslim do their prayer, their pre-prayer, or what I call the cleansing yoga before we do our salah. It's known as the wudu, but here we are using sanitizers. We do it 5 times a day with soap and water and prayer format. Or any way that is open. Ladies and gentlemen, move your rings, 20 seconds, your thumb, people don't normally clean it, and so forth. Shift your watch and take care of yourself. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, to put on your masks, whether it's imported or local, but make your local. Make your local, don't take chances. COVID virus is getting worse in Guyana. It's spiking around the world. Why? Because of indiscipline. We must be disciplined. We must follow social distancing. We must do hygiene cleansing. We must wash our face often and be careful how we socialize. Ladies and gentlemen, peace and blessings of God be with one and all. Taken from the Kaieteur News, Saturday, 4th June 2020, threats to democracy are dangerous and stupid minds, by Freddie Kissoon. I have a series now that I will be doing with Freddie Kissoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is taken from the Saturday, June 04, 2020, newspapers, Kaieteur News. Moses Nagamoto and Kemraj Ramjatan spoke to the Chronicle about social media manipulations in Guyana elections. They both refer to the presence of Cambridge Analytica and Mercury Company. Nagamoto claimed that Cambridge Analytica developed software which it used in Guyana that allowed the most intimate interference with the behavior of our people and set them up for manipulation on the basis of their race, culture and political persuasion. Ladies and gentlemen, yours truly, a quick commentary. This guy, Moses, continued to stun me with gross, stupid analysis and mentioning lies and evil so that he can get his appointment as presidential advisor and he can enjoy the fact, even though he will no longer be getting the siren songs blasting in his skull, which he loves, Moses Nagamoto. It's such a disappointment that it has become a national shame and a disgrace. And I'm shocked that even his family are not pulling him up. That he's saying such nonsense that Cambridge Analytica will interfere with our decisions and our social behavior. Living with a kind of a nonsensical wish in his skull to remain somehow in power at all costs so that he can enjoy the fat which he always wanted. Back to the article. In effect, the PPP paid handsomely to compromise and undermine what the Guyana Constitution guarantees as the sovereignty of the people. Obviously, Cambridge Analytica is amazingly incompetent because writing in the Chronicle Charter after Mingo was caught inserting fictitious number in his tabulation. Nagamutu wrote that Apno AFC won the election. In a small country like this, only 400,000 voters going to the poll. How did such a formidable research company make the PPP lose the election? After all, it is Nagamutu himself who wrote that the PPP lost, thus calling into question the competence of Cambridge Analytica. It would be nice if Nagamutu could explain how the research firm failed. The trouble with Nagamutu is that he doesn't face the media, so we will never know why Lincoln Lewis and David Hines were removed from the Chronicle as columnists when he was the subject minister, prime minister of the Chronicle newspapers. So we will never get an explanation from him as how the company failed the PPP. And let's be realistic. This guy who's pride himself as a journalist is afraid to face these little children who are journalists, most of whom didn't even go to the university and just became a journalist by chance, but they have drive and wit and power and exuberance and intelligence. Most of them didn't have a university degree, but they will eat him up. So he's so cowardly that he, Nagamutu, is afraid and terrified of the media, and he likes to pride himself as a media man. According to Freddie Kissoon, there we go, Freddie Kissoon, salutations my brother, keep up the fantastic work. We just love you. You're doing a handsome, fantastic piece of work. We salute you, man. Here is Nagamutu again, according to Freddie Kissoon. As long as political parties are allowed to utilize the services of unprincipled companies which harness social media and personal data to influence elections, countries like Guyana will never be able to assure its citizens untarnished democratic process and political equality. But these companies are failures because Nagamutu said his party won. What are you saying, commentary, that these companies, they do these things and so on, and they're damaging our democracy, and they failed, and the next thing you know, he announced that his party won. I mean, is this, as Freddie Kissoon like to use the word, assassinity? Ladies and gentlemen, friends and family, is this assassinity or what? There's another question. Back to the article. There's another question, the answer to which makes Nagamutu looks like an asinine politician. Just use the word. That's one of Freddie's beautiful words. Actually, I learned a word from him. This columnist knows that the PPP won the election by 1 seat. And almost 8,000 votes went to the smaller parties. Those small organizations collected votes that would never have gone to the PNC and the AFC, and would have been given to the PPP if these small parties did not contest. If these research firms manipulated people's thinking, then how come almost 8,000 voters did not give their ballot to the PPP? Very smart. Let me read that again, ladies and gentlemen. Pay attention and read slow. If these research firms manipulated people thinking, in other words, their behavior, their attitude, as this guy who is the master of assassinity is saying, it manipulated people's thinking, then how come almost 8,000 voters did not give their ballot to the PPP? So they could have been manipulated to give that 8,000 votes to the PPP. instead of giving it to those new little parties that popped up. But salutations to these parties, the TNM and others, the ANOG and others. Salutations to them. Beautiful work. And I'm seeing the making of a new coalition, the making of a new National Front government with true positive people. These are positive parties. I will encourage the PPPC to bring them in, give them positions, give some of them seats within your government, and take Guyana to the higher and the greater platform of greatness. Back to the article by Freddie Kissoon. The guy is now, Freddie is going now to Ramjatan, despite the power Nagamutu assigns to Cambridge Analytica CA. Its presence was almost non-existent in Guyana, because even the Minister of Security did not know about CA's work here and only learned of it on June 14th, when one of CA's former employees in an interview supposedly touched on Guyana. Now, interestingly, the Chronicle also quotes Ramjatan as saying that it was only on election day, March 2nd, that members of the government knew that mercury was in Guyana. See the article, Democracy in Danger, Nagamutu. Ramjatan say, involvement of Cambridge Analytica, mercury threat to elections in Guyana. Chronicle 2020. I repeat, threat to elections in Guyana, Chronicle 22nd, 2020. This is the mountain of elephant dung. Ready? Right, Freddie? Yeah, boy. This is a mountain of elephant dung. This is a small country where the population is concentrated in Region 4, and the majority of Region 4 residents can be found in Georgetown and its environs. How can two foreign firms be operating in Guyana, tampering with people's social media postings, hacking into people's smartphones, and manipulating their Facebook postings to positively shape the perceptions of the PPP, and no one from the time of the announcement of the date of the election until voting day itself knew anything about these two firms, says Freddie Kissoon, and the minister whose portfolio is security tells the Chronicle the government only knew it on election day of the presence of CA or Cambridge Analytica. Friends and families, brothers and sisters, that's the Minister of Security, you know, and he don't know. This suddenly, on the day of count, he arrested a set of people from Russia, and he can't show us their photograph, their mug shots when they were arrested. One disappeared and 3 were deported, and he can't show us the deportation documents or paperwork to prove himself when people are calling him a liar. So Ramjatan is a liar, unfit to be a minister, much less a prime minister. Ramjatan, liar. Ramjatan, national liar and disgrace to Guyana. Ramjatan, creator of Russians, and obviously the hater of Russians. Russian government, Russian embassy in Guyana thinks Russian. Be careful with Ramjatan. He's a hater of Russia. Ramjatan is a hater of Russia. So I will ask my operator to put up here, Ramjatan is a hater of Russia. Ramjatan lies against Russia. Russia, beware of Ramjatan. My operator will show that in order to bolster it into our minds, ourselves, as you're seeing this divine friends and family, brothers and sisters. Here are the words of Ramjatan. If you now know what Cambridge Analytica can do, what mercury can do, what interference can come from people of that ilk, who can throw their psycho-demographics and then push nasty disinformation and fake news and all of that, that's probably where we got distracted from, and that is where our gaze ought to have been. So you see, they didn't concentrate on these things and so on, and the reality was going on, and they probably, he and Moses Nagamutu, how they could enjoy giving out contracts and guns and weapons to their friends and forming companies as partners and so on in them so they can draw perpetual income out of them, divine friends and families. Back to the article. My analysis of the election reveals that the PPP won. But if Nagamootoo and Ramchatan are informing us that these two companies were in Guyana and their power to get into voters' head were displayed during the election campaign, then they have to tell us how their party beat the PPP. I have to read that back. Friends and families, Nagamootoo and Ramchatan are informing us that these two companies were in Guyana and their power to get into voters' head were displayed during the election campaign. Then they have to tell us how their party beat the PPP. He went into their head, and how come they can beat the PPP? Nagamootoo's favorite word, assassinity. My operator put the word up here. Assassinity will spell it out very nicely for you up there, ladies and gentlemen. They have to give back to the article, they have to give an explanation, but they will not do so because Nagamootoo and Ramchatan are sprouting assassinities. And we have here Ramchatan and Moses, according to Freddie, are sprouting assassinities. And you hold it up there for a few seconds so you can get it into our heads, brothers and sisters. Next to the article, we go on their verbal miasma. That's another nice word that it describes these two persons. So, from Nagamootoo, verbal miasma, M-I-A-S-M-A, verbal miasma, up there. And we will put in bracket, Moses and Ramchatan. Does not influence anyone. Do you know why only two politicians from the entire fortress of APNU and AFC are telling us about Mercury and Cambridge Analytica or CA? Because they have to find a scapegoat. I'm intentionally stopping for a few seconds, ladies and gentlemen, so you can think. Their verbal miasma does not influence anyone. Freddie is asking, do you know why these two politicians from the entire fortress of the APNU and AFC are telling us about Mercury and CA? And he's giving us the answer now. Because they have to find a scapegoat for not bringing votes to the APNU and AFC campaign. They are the reason Poor Granger lost the election. Ladies and gentlemen, friends and family, I've been saying this all the time. The APNU cannot accept the fact that they lost because they had depended on the AFC. The AFC brought nothing, yet the APNU was willing to give them 10 seats in Parliament. The APNU got to be really kind. Not only kind, diplomatic. What do you call, is there a special word, Freddie? Freddie, I'm asking you a question. Is there a special word for democratic assassinity? How could they have brought Freddie Kissoon? How could they have brought any vote when they lied to the people and never told the people they were closing sugar, and before the elections they were to give them 20% increase, and sugar was too big to fall, and they expect the people to vote for them when they cause suicides, destruction of family, social mayhem. Children cannot go to school, children cannot be financed, they cannot write their exams, and you put nothing in place. And now let me get a photograph of Moses Nagamootoo. Moses, you and one of Ramchatan, neither of you try to put things in place to help the children to get some funding to write the exams. Exams cost money. But you find money by the hundreds of millions of dollars from donors that you promise kickbacks to, and facilities and contracts and benefits, but you didn't think about the poor sugar workers or the children of the rice farmers that you all lied to that you all would have gotten rice for $9,000 per bag. And you lied and you misled people. Even your contract, even those people who give you the money are worried today that their lives might be in jeopardy because of their businesses, because of the American and the European sanctions that might come down on Guyana. So you, Moses, and you, Ramchatan, total disgrace to Guyana. Total disgrace. I'm so ashamed of you all. You all should go away, both of you, and hide in some dark dungeon, never to be seen again. Wherever you are seen, people will humiliate and make mockery of you for the rest of your lives. I pray God, the two of you, it doesn't affect the family. Because family are special people. When you act and you behave in a certain manner, you must think about your family as well. So ladies and gentlemen, there's a conversation I was having with Moses Nagamoto and my friend Freddie Kissoon, who knows how to put them in their place. Friends and family, me, your friend, your brother, hoping for sanity to prevail, hoping that the right persons become the government of Guyana, voted by the people of Guyana. And why am I like this? Ladies and gentlemen, they cannot hope to try to destroy me and my life and deny me my rights, and other people's destroy their lives and their livelihood without a plan or a structure, and expect me to run behind them. There's a technique called win friends and influence people. One more, I show you the book again this time. Maybe you use the left side this time. How to win friends and influence people. I asked the APNU AMC to read that book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. And if you had done it right, people like yours truly could have been campaigning for you and many others. The people who voted against you, instead of going into starvation, would have been surviving in groups and cooperatives and societies to survive after the closure of sugar. How to win friends and influence people. Treat people nice so they can eat out of your hands. And my opinion is that President-elect Irfan Ali will do just that. Your friend, your brother Haji Roshikan saying, thank you and farewell, friends.